everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel, Love for Intuitive Astrology. So my name is Michelle and I'm an intuitive astrologer. I combine my knowledge of astrology with my intuition, and this will be reflected in this video. So today I'm going to talk about the upcoming new moon partial solar eclipse in the sign of Aries. And this will happen on the 29th of March 2025 at exactly 9 degrees, okay? And this new moon is going to be extra charged because this is an eclipse, and it's going to set new beginnings and new intentions that could last for the upcoming months, or at least for a very long period, right? So pay attention to this day or around this day, right? Because you're gonna start to feel the energies of the eclipse usually already a few days before and even a few days after, okay? So if you are getting certain ideas or new ideas that are coming up, then definitely listen to those, okay? And not only this is a new moon, this is also in the sign of Aries, which is the first sign of the zodiac. This is where new beginnings are happening. So definitely a lot of you will see a major shift happening in your life. But it's in the sign of Aries, so we are talking about a fire sign, and sometimes a little bit of an impulsive sign. So be aware of making impulsive decisions, okay? That you're listening to your intuition and your gut feeling when you are choosing the direction you want to go in or the decision that you want to make. Because we have a lot of fire and we have a lot of water, okay? We have Saturn with the North Node, we have Venus and Neptune all together, okay? And this is a kind of a strange bunch of planets together, okay? Because the North Node is basically where you're gonna go. So this is your destiny. It is with Saturn, so it's like, you know, taking this new route doesn't always mean that it's going to be very easy. Sometimes you have to overcome some obstacles, or you have to make a good plan before you can move forward. But then we have Venus and Neptune, and those planets are a little bit utopian, okay? I want to chase my dreams. I want to, you know, it can have a sense of too good to be true if you look at it from a shadow perspective, right? I'm gonna place my incense a little bit further away because you might see the smoke going through the screen. Okay. I really like to burn some incense when I'm filming, so, but I want them a little bit out of the camera. Anyway, so Venus and Neptune on its highest form is so creative, very spiritual. And we have Venus retrograde here, okay? We have Venus retrograde, and we also have Mercury retrograde. Now it's 0 degrees in Aries. So we have two signs that are really coming from, you know, Pisces is very intuitive, and Aries has this strong gut feeling. That's why you can act so quickly, really in the moment. You know, this is what I want to do. This is what I want to go after. So this can lead indeed to some impulsive decisions. So make sure you meditate before acting on it, okay? Just to make sure that this is something that is really in alignment with where you want to go. Also, we have two elements that are kind of contrary, right? We have Aries that likes to go, likes to move forward, and you have Pisces that likes to you know, more feminine energy. I want to go with the flow, see where it takes me, see where it goes. So there's going to be this strange feeling of feeling a bit restless, and you know, you want to move, you want to do things, and Saturn is also in Pisces, right? And it's telling you to slow down, not too quick. Make sure that you plan everything well. We have Mercury retrograde, so there could be some miscommunications. There could be some yeah, like you could overlook some details. So it's really important to look into the details. Also with Venus retrograde right now, it's in Pisces. It's a really good time to create, but it's not a good time to really launch anything new. Okay, so if you're working on a new project, you can work on it, but it's better to overlook everything, to optimize everything, and to see what still needs to be healed also within yourself. Because Venus retrograde is going to trigger, if you're in a creative business, right? And creativity can be many things. That you feel maybe insecure or not good enough. Like, what is holding you back from actually achieving the things that you want to achieve? So this is a time to start a new beginning, but not necessarily act on it yet, as in launching something new. I would definitely wait until after Mercury retrograde is over in April and Venus retrograde. So the safe day would be, or date would be after more or less the 12th or 13th, and even a few days later, I would say, just to make sure if you want to launch anything, right? This is a good time to introspect. There might be some truths coming to you, especially if you're into meditation or a spiritual practice. You're going to get a lot of truths, okay? And something that has been coming up with me, and I think that this is such a typical Venus retrograde thought or pattern for a lot of people, is worthiness. Like, am I worthy of getting the money that I want? Am I worthy of sometimes actually relaxing, right? Like, I haven't worked as hard in the past few weeks as I usually do. And for some of you know that we're working on this retreat center, and unfortunately many signs, many circumstances pushed us out, but we learned so much. And I'm super grateful. It led us to a new path that we wouldn't otherwise have taken. So I know it was meant to be. And, you know, even I myself am working some things behind the scenes, but I'm going to definitely let you know when it's finished. So, you know, and not working as much because I have, or I used to have a marketing agency on the side, right? And I was combining that with my astrology. So I've always been working very hard. And suddenly I'm in this phase where I'm focusing on me, on myself much more. And there's all this like guilt coming up. I should work. I should do something, right? And then I'm just gonna do something for the sake of doing something. And I know some of you need to hear this because this is a typical energy also of this solar eclipse, which is have fire, which is telling you to do stuff, and Pisces is telling you to slow down. Mercury retrograde is like, go internal, look what you need to solve, like what karma needs to be cleansed and clean before you can move on, right? Same with Venus retrograde. Like, if you are single, for example, and you want to meet someone, first you have to clean the energies, and you have to say like, what is blocking you from receiving the love that you want or the money that you want? Because Venus is also money, and the self-worth, that where you link yourself to, right? Like, I was so used to do so many things for free or give a lot, and sometimes it was at the cost of myself. And these things we have to learn, right? And we have to take the opportunity to look within. So I would say retrogrades are really a gift. Ground yourself during this time, okay? Because we have very little earth energy. We have Uranus in an earth sign, and Uranus is not very stable energy. So it's like people are gonna swim different directions, walk, you know, it's a bit restless, okay? So if you are in a place where you can ground yourself, put your feet in the ground, like bare feet, that's really going to help. That's really going to ground you. And it's going to really, you can be more in touch with yourself, so to speak. I don't know why I'm getting the card, so I'm just gonna give a general card for people who are watching the introduction, because I know some of you are gonna go straight to the signs. Okay, This is crazy. I was just getting the cards and I got the sign pause. So not only this was a major sign for me, but looking at the astrology, a lot of you I know that need to have a break, and we shouldn't feel guilty about it because, you know, you're not overrunning your car motor, right? You're not going to keep driving if it starts to smoke and if it starts to show signs like I'm tired, this is it. So you have to sometimes take a rest, right? So pause and, you know, get yourself some flowers. Like this lady had like got herself some flowers. Give yourself something nice, right? I would say something small because we are in Venus retrograde. It's not a big time for like major operations or big gifts, but give yourself something small or do something small for yourself. And I love the alignment of the cards. Look deeper. This is a time to introspect, and out of this introspection, a new beginning can start, right? And this is going to be the eclipse. It's going to be an aha moment. You're relaxing, and out of relaxing and being calm, you can create so many beautiful things. Sometimes it's the faster route. We think if we keep running and keep going, that's going to be the fastest route, but actually it's not. Sometimes people who take their time and, you know, work on their skills and just take their time before starting something new, can be anything, right? It's people, for example, who are patient before meeting the right person. Like maybe you were impatient and picking the first one that came along because you're afraid to end up alone, or you wait for quality. And this is in every situation in life, right? So this is a time to introspect what is important to you and relax if your body is telling you to, okay? It's fully okay sometimes to take a bit of a rest. And of course, I don't know your situation, like maybe you're in a situation where you cannot rest, okay? But try the best you can, even if it's just an hour, or just explain to people or get a sitter or something like that, right? Anyways, so yeah, we have a lot of conjunctions, like I said. We have Mars still in a square with Chiron. So again, this is like this uncomfortable feeling of really taking action, because Chiron is kind of this wound, right? This unhealed wound. And it's also a healer. So heal yourself. Tell yourself it's okay to rest sometimes. It's okay that we don't always have the goal and things ready in the now, because this society tells you you have to be ready today, you have to have your goal set today, and you can't fail because you can't show your face when you're failing, or when you're doing this, or when you're still single, or when you're still that. But you know what? In astrology, we can see that everybody has their own clock, everybody has their own time schedule, and you will have enough time to do what you came here to do. So why rush into something, right? So I think that was a really strong message that I wanted to give you. I'm ready to go to all the signs, okay? So I'm gonna start up with the sign of Aries. So this is for everyone with Aries Sun, Aries Moon, and Aries Rising. So especially if you have one of your major planets at 9 degrees, you're going to be highly impacted by this new moon. And this is most likely a major new beginning for you. So listen to your intuition. You have so many planets in the 12th house. And I think for you, Aries, it would be so good to look at the introduction, because you are one of the signs that definitely you need some rest, right? In order to create. So first, resting. You have Saturn there, you have the North Node, you have Venus and Neptune. You can create so many beautiful things from peace, from a sense of calm. The first house is also very much related to your identity. So a lot of you, by introspecting, you are redefining your identity. So who are you? Like, what is the direction you want to take? What does your heart want? And sometimes Venus retrograde, we have Venus retrograde in the 12th house, is telling you exactly like, you know, maybe this is what I don't want. This is what I don't want. So you can start off by things that you don't want, right? Like if there's something you're uncomfortable with that maybe in the past you said yes to and you regretted it later, just write it down, do some journaling and see what you're comfortable with and not comfortable with. So this is where you're going to start your new beginning. So a new direction for you. And with Saturn in the 12th house, you have been taking off many, many, many layers, Aries, like an onion. And you're peeling off all the toxic layers that are no longer serving you. So you're definitely doing a huge cleanse, okay? And also, you have been having Chiron in the 1st house, and it's squaring Mars in the 4th, okay? So a lot of you are healing past anger when it comes to family. Maybe there was something related to your identity that you couldn't fully express yourself in a safe way, or that you felt maybe judged, right? And it doesn't matter if it's true or not, it's how you felt, because that's really valid, right? How you were feeling in that moment. So there is a lot of things and synchronicities happening for you that maybe put you on hold temporarily. So you could definitely introspect. Sorry guys, I'm starting to feel Mercury retrograde. This is the week of the first eclipse, and it's gonna be right on my Mercury. And then Mercury retrograde is starting, so that's gonna be so much fun. Okay, Aries, I'm gonna get you a card. So Jupiter in the 3rd house as well. What a beautiful placement. You have so many amazing ideas, so write them down, okay? I'm getting miracle. Look at that. So sometimes when you think that something is not happening according to the bigger plan, right? It actually turns out a miracle. It actually turns out to be something that you didn't expect. Because look at that. Heaven is watching over you. Okay? Look how beautiful that is. Sometimes you have to be reminded that being alone at home or being by yourself, you're never fully alone, okay? You're always supported by your guides. And with so many planets in the 12th house, you're making massive connections with your higher self. Really important around this time, okay? Because 12th house, they say you're either very connected or very lost. And there's no in between, right? And you also have Neptune there. And if you're an early rising or sun or moon Aries, you're going to have already Neptune very close to your sun, moon, and rising. And it might create a bit of fog or like brain fog, but at the same time, it makes you more intuitive, more sensitive, more creative. So it's just about working with the energies, right? Emotions. So embrace the emotions that are coming up, okay? Because it might be an emotional time, but I always say like feel them and dive into your emotions. Like, why are you feeling that way? Could you think about why are you feeling that way? And what is something you can do about it? Because if you didn't feel feelings of anger or sadness or happiness, how do you know what to change or what to work on, right? So your emotions are actually a huge gift. And that's what I want to bring to you, Aries. So pay attention to the signs, and the more calm you are, right? And you want to balance some of your fire energy. So go and do some sports. That would be amazing. Like walking in the nature, jogging, swimming, and you can work perfectly with this upcoming energy. Ground yourself, make sure that you ground yourself, but you are cleansing inside out, so you make space for miracles and new beautiful things to come to you. So that would be my message for you, my lovely Aries. Thank you so much for watching. If you want me to make many more videos for you, subscribe to my channel, leave a comment below. I would love to know how you're feeling the eclipse energies already. And thank you so much for being here. Until next time, let's move on to Taurus. So Taurus, Sun, Moon, and Rising. For you, we have this new Moon Partial Solar Eclipse in the 12th house. And the 12th house is really telling you to maybe take a little bit of rest, okay? This is a time to slow down. And, you know, it's in the sign of Aries, so it's a bit uncomfortable because Aries likes to move forward. But you can take action behind the scenes, right? Take action by being by yourself. You could be writing, journaling, doing some yoga, making some walks, like clearing your mind. And then also you have this whole bunch of planets in Pisces in the 11th house. So you have the North Node, you have Saturn, you have Venus and Neptune. So this is really a time where you're going to redefine how you value yourself in your community. So are you with the right people around you? Are you with the right friends? Do you feel like you relate to your community? And how would you like to see yourself, or how would you like to be appreciated in a community, and what can you do to change it? Because I always say, ultimately, we are responsible for, you know, for ourselves and for the things that are making you happy. So it's time to find something that makes you happy, Taurus, and to find people that match those energies. And with Saturn there and Neptune and Venus, there might be some tests coming in, right? Because there are some lessons you need to see or need to learn regarding the people around you. This could also be new people coming in, and it's a really good time to filter and see what is important for you, because good friendships are usually built over time, right? And some people are also necessary to sometimes you let them go, sometimes they come back later in life, because you're gonna be at the same vibration again, right? And there's nothing wrong with that. Like, as long as we let people go with love, it doesn't matter, right? Sometimes the roads split and they come back together later, and if they don't, it's also fine. Like, wish them the best from your heart. Let me get a little bit of water. Okay. Yeah, so a lot of resting, meditating. If you're into like martial arts or yoga, these kind of things would be the best to focus on. This is a time for introspection. We also have Mercury Retrograde, so this is no time to launch something major. This is time to really optimize everything that you've been doing already. It might be that some ideas from the past are coming back and you're gonna pick them up again. You're like, oh, I had this idea and I actually never did anything with it. So you might write it down and then start to build a plan from that, right? Because you have this two contradictory energy, this 11th house, very outgoing energy, and then there's the 12th house energy. So make sure that if you socialize, that you limit it. And when you feel exhausted, that you listen to your body, okay? You have Jupiter there in the 2nd house, so it's a really good time for money. And it's in the sign of Gemini, so it could be coming in through two sources of income. I'm really having trouble speaking. This eclipse is going to be right on my Mercury this week, the eclipse of Virgo, and also we're going to have Mercury retrograde coming up. I can definitely tell, but I'm trying to articulate the best I can. Okay, sweetness, Taurus. Sweetness. So it's time to be sweet to yourself. We have Venus retrograde, right? And if you felt like maybe you were bullied in the past, you're going to heal those layers. You're going to tell yourself that you're beautiful, you're handsome, and there's, you know, at that time, people didn't realize what they were doing. And if they did, it's their karma, their thing. You do things that make you happy. Steady progress, okay? So if you were trying to rush into something, or you wanted to like make the process go faster, at this point, it's really one step at a time, okay? It's more about the planning. It's about getting better skills, removing the blocks that are preventing you from moving forward. And also this is about, because Aries is all about taking initiative and leadership. So what has been preventing you from moving forward? First, the blocks need to go, and then you can go ahead. Confidence. So you're redefining your confidence. You're finding yourself again. So you'll have the confidence to go after what it is that you want, right? This could be a relationship, this could be friendships, this could be with the job. It's time to take out all the toxic layers and all the BS that have been holding you back. And that needs to happen first in order to move on and take action on the next steps. So now it's about writing it down. What do you need in order to get there? So learn the skills, learn what you need to do, some strategizing, because that's what Saturn wants as well there with the North Node. And when everything in April starts to flow again after mid-April, it's time to take action. So that would be my message for you, my amazing Taurus. Thank you so much for watching. And until next time, let's move on to Gemini. So Gemini, Sun, Moon, and Rising. You have this upcoming new moon partial solar eclipse at 9 degrees in your 11th house. And this is very much related to your friendships, your community. And this is also about networking, okay? But we have Mercury retrograde there. So some of you might hear from friends from the past. And you need to decide, is this a friend that I want to continue talking to? Is this a friend where I need to resolve something with, right? So they might be coming back and you need to talk about something. Then also you have a lot of planets in Pisces in the 10th house, and Saturn has been slowing things down, making things more heavy in the workplace. And then we have Venus and Neptune. So in the best way, you're working towards a strategy for a more creative approach. So this could be if you're in marketing, for example, or you're in a very creative job or in a spiritual job, you can thrive, right? But also this can create some weird situations like that you're not really seeing what is really happening, because Neptune can create some fogginess and some unclear situations, and Saturn is teaching you something. So what can you learn from this weird situation that is happening? Yeah, it might be that you're being blamed for something you didn't do, or you're just having some miscommunications with your boss. You're not really sure what does he or she mean. So it's about getting more context and seeing if the job that you're in or the company that you have, if you have your own company or you're a freelancer, if the path you're on is that suiting for you. So the lessons there are to show you something, teach you something. So look into that. And yeah, it's all about there are going to be some changes in friendships as well, and how you communicate with them, what you are willing to accept and willing to give. Because right now with all these retrogrades, right, it's more internal energy. So see how much you want to give and who you want to keep in your life, in a sense, right? Or who you want to keep close, so you don't have to cut off any friends or do anything impulsive, which is what Aries could do sometimes. But it's about seeing who still fits in your life. Confidence. So I feel like you're becoming more confident in your skin. And don't forget, you have Jupiter in the first house there. So it's really bringing you optimism, more confidence. So some of you are daring to stand up for yourself. Like, I'm ready to break this pattern. So who do you need to forgive to do that? Maybe you need to forgive yourself, right? Sometimes it takes forgiving yourself. And it doesn't even mean if you've done something. It's about the feeling that you think you might have done something. Play music. So some of you need to move and dance and have fun, right? Because we have this new moon in Aries, so it could be that you simply want to have fun, go out with friends, you want to dance, you want to enjoy yourself. So a lot of you, I feel, are in this bold kind of area in your life, okay? This time where you want to explore, you want to feel free. I'm getting married, so let me get a clarification on that. You found it. So we are Venus retrograde here. So a lot of you have been thinking about a relationship. Like if you're single, you might have thought about what type of relationship do you want. This could also be related to someone at work, because we do have Venus retrograde there in the 10th house. You're learning more about yourself. So what is it that you need in a relationship? But also, because we have Venus retrograde in the 10th house, like how do you want to be valued in your job? How do you want to be seen, right? And what is the honest give and take in your job, right? That you're not overly working for too little or the other way around, and you find the right balance there. So there will be a lot of answers coming in for you regarding that. So that would be my message for you, my amazing Geminis. If you like this video, subscribe to my channel. That will really help me. And leave a comment below. Let me know how this resonates with you. And I hope to see you next time. Thank you so much, Gemini. Let's move on to Cancer. So Cancer, Sun, Moon, and Rising. For you, we have this new moon, solar eclipse in Aries in your 10th house. And lately when I'm talking, I feel like my throat is getting a bit scratchy. So I guess I'm cleaning up my throat chakra, which is in alignment with the upcoming eclipse in Virgo. It's going to be right on my Mercury. So my apologies. I'm doing a lot of cleanups. Anyways, it's going to be in your 10th house. And this is all related to your public image, your career. There's Mercury retrograde there. So some of you might hear from past clients, past bosses, maybe a company from that you worked with before is contacting you again. You also might start to doubt, like, am I in the right place? Is this the right job for me? Should I look for something else? And I would say if you're not 100% sure, don't make any rash decisions, because Aries likes to be a bit impulsive. And actually Pisces can also be a little impulsive sometimes. So these energies can make that you choose something that you're not fully behind. So it would be best to make the ultimate decision when the planets are direct, because then you can see how things are moving forward. But there might be some shifts happening in the workplace, some chaos, and you're not really sure how to deal with that, okay? Because we have Chiron there as well. And Chiron sometimes makes you feel like you have to do a lot or show a lot more than maybe other people have to do. So this wound is there to be healed, okay? How can you value yourself in the workplace and know that enough is enough, right? That you listen to your body, because we have all these Pisces energy in the 9th house. This wants you to feel into your body. We also have Venus retrograde, Neptune, Saturn, and the North Node in the 9th house. So some of you are going to travel. This could be traveling for work. So a serious job, you're going traveling for work. You might be planning a trip, okay? But you need to plan it well because Saturn might delay certain things, okay? So if you're going on a trip, you might be experiencing some delays or some unclear communication. If you're with the North Node there and all these planets in Pisces, it's really weird placement because on the one hand, Cancer, you're gonna be like, I want to explore all the higher learning about religion and spirituality, and I want to know all of these things. I want to experience things, but Saturn there is like making you a bit skeptic, and I think it's really good to be a bit skeptic, right? Because I think it's really important that when you pick, for example, someone you're gonna work with in the spiritual field, that you feel into your intuition first. Is this person going to help me in a way that is resonating with you? And doing your research. And the best way to find your own belief system, which is related to the 9th house, is to do research. And I say the same with astrology. Like, if people don't believe in it, do observational and have analytical and observational skills and observe for a time. Do some analyze some charts according to what is happening, and you will see that it really lines up. So it's about doing research and finding your own truth. This is where you're at now, Cancer. So instead of maybe going to a teacher, some of you are doing your own research or want to become your own teacher. But Saturn is saying, okay, you have to work a bit hard for this, or you have to nail some of the skills in order to get there, okay? Jupiter also in the 12th house is definitely helping you with your intuition, but sometimes you might have too many ideas or too many thoughts. So write them down and do some journaling and things like that. Mars is in the 1st house, okay? So you have more energy and yeah, more energy to move forward. So do some sports. Get out the frustrations, I wanted to say. Okay. Optimism and faith, right? And this aligns very well with the 9th house. And this optimism and faith is gonna guide you towards a new job or an idea for a job, right? So be aware if you're gonna move jobs that you read the contracts very well with Mercury retrograde. If you can wait with signing the contract until after the 12th of April, that would be great. Healing. You're healing massively. Okay, some of you are changing your belief system. Maybe you've been hurt by a teacher or someone that you looked up to, and you're healing from that now. You're healing from maybe people who took advantage of a certain situation, right? And you're healing from that now. You're going to investigate yourself. You're going to do a lot of self-healing. So that would be my message for you, my lovely Cancer. Thank you so much for watching. And until next time, let's move on to Leo. So Leo, Sun and Rising. For you, we have this new moon solar eclipse in Aries in your 9th house. And obviously, if you're going to be a Leo, Sun and Rising around 9 degrees, you're going to be highly impacted by this eclipse because of your fellow fire sign. It's going to make a beautiful trine. So with this new moon in the 9th house, some of you are going to take a trip. And this could even be a trip overseas that's going to set new beginnings for you. Now we do have Mercury retrograde. So for a lot of you, you're going to visit someone, you know, abroad, you know, going back to a place you've already been. So revisit a place. Also, if you have been studying something or you've been reading a certain book, you're going to pick up the book again and finish it. So Mercury retrograde wants you to finish something or optimize something, going back to subjects from before. And sometimes when we look back, even when we read something that you've read in the past, you might have a completely different perspective now. Okay. So we have Venus and Neptune and the North Node and Saturn all in the 8th house. So be very careful with scams. too good to be true financial schemes, okay? Also, huge investments is not the best time with Venus retrograde, and also with Saturn. It's going to make a lot of difficulty for you. So it's better to work with this energy and to wait until Venus is direct. And I would say to be safe until Saturn is in Aries or Saturn goes into your 9th house. You can check that in your own chart. Mars is in the 12th house. So you might feel like you have a little bit less energy. It's gonna give you a lot more energy when Mars is moving into your sign and in the 1st house. You're gonna have a lot more energy, okay? So rest when you need to. With all those planets in the 8th house, you're taking off a lot of layers. And also you're fixing things from the past. So also finances, taxes, things that maybe have gone wrong, or papers that were not done the right way. Now it's time to recover from that. Optimism. So I feel like you're actually taking this period quite positively, because a lot of you know that sometimes things need to be healed, need to be fixed in order to move forward. Sorry, I'm gonna take a glass of water. I'm having a massive throat chakra healing going on with the upcoming eclipse in Virgo. So I feel like when I'm talking, my voice sometimes is a bit scratchy. But, you know, I'm seeing it like you, Leo. I'm going to see it in the positive light. It's going to do something amazing. It's going to clear up my throat chakra. So, you know, I'm going to explain the best I can with all these energies right now. And the Mercury retrograde coming up. So we have Neptune and Venus there in the 8th house. If you're in a court case or something like this, it could kind of be weird. Like you're not really know where things are going. So make sure to ground yourself very well if that's the case for you, or you're in a divorce or something like that. Things might be going slow, like appointments might be canceled. And the same with any type of situation like insurance or things like that, that maybe things are not going as smooth. The 8th house is also removing parts of blockages that prevent you from being fully vulnerable. So what is holding you back from being vulnerable? I'm getting healthful eating. So some of you definitely going on a new diet that is more suiting for your lifestyle. And also with Jupiter there in the 11th house, you might be having a lot of fun. You might be out and about. And also you need to watch your health a little bit. Reward. So you're going to get rewarded for the effort you put in now. So don't worry about, you know, I know sometimes it's easier said than done, but the outcome is important, but the road taken to get you there is also important, because you're learning so many lessons. You're learning how to be persistent. So I'm feeling this big reward. Like, we've seen how hard you've been working, Leo. Move. Okay, some of you are preparing for a move, or you literally need to move your body. Okay, no excessive moving because Mars is in the 12th house. But I feel like moving as in like doing something light, like yoga. But also what I'm seeing in this card is that letting go of control, letting go of the need to control the outcome, okay? This person is just dropping, not saying you should do something impulsive, but go with the flow. This is a very intuitive day, and it's going to bring you a lot of solutions that are going to take you to the next stage in life, okay? So that would be my message for you, my amazing Leo. So let's move on now to the sign of Virgo. So for all my lovely Virgo sun, moon, and rising, this upcoming new moon solar eclipse is going to be in your 8th house. And the 8th house has to do everything with finances from different sources and third parties. So with Mercury retrograde in conjunction with this new moon eclipse, make sure that all your papers are in order, that you double check everything, your taxes, your retirement plan, okay? Anything to do with third-party financial situations, also with investors, right? It's not a good time to start a new contract with any type of investor right now. Only people maybe that you've worked with before, okay? So if you do in some way have to do that, really make sure that you read everything very carefully, because we do not only have Mercury retrograde, we also have Venus retrograde, okay? Venus retrograde is now in the 7th house in Pisces, together with Venus, the North Node, and Saturn. So there's a lot of lessons coming up for you regarding relationships. Now, the 8th house has more to do with more of intimacy, right? So some say it's everything that happens between the sheets, but it's also vulnerability. You are healing yourself by being more vulnerable. And if you're single, right, with Venus retrograde here, you're going back to your past relationships and you're going to have kind of an overview on how that impacted you, those relationships. What could you have done differently? And, you know, very often we think that people do things to us, but in many cases we allow people to do things to us, right? Like we think like, oh, we were treated so badly. But how can you prevent it in the future is by leaving, okay? And there are some extreme situations, I understand that that's not possible. But right now, you are redefining yourself. Like, what is important for you? And also, Neptune and Venus can bring in some things that are too good to be true. I'm really suffering already from Mercury retrograde. And the upcoming eclipse in Virgo is going to be right on my Mercury. So I'm doing the best I can with my communication skills. But yeah, you're really redefining relationships, and there might be a lesson or two coming in order for you to know exactly what it is that you want, okay? And where are your boundaries? Like, where are exactly your boundaries? So if you want something serious, are you going to allow someone to have a casual relationship with you, right? So you have to be clear. What is it that your heart truly wants? And what aligns with that? If you're already in a relationship, it's the same thing. You're going to reevaluate to see what is important for you in this relationship. What is it that you need? Are you missing something? How can you work on that together? Okay. Besides that, Virgo, you have Jupiter in the 10th house. So there might be a lot of opportunities coming in for you work-wise. Maybe you started a new job. If you're switching jobs now, be very, very careful with signing contracts. Like after mid-April, things are going to be much, much, much better. So I would definitely wait for that. I'm seeing a lot of optimism in you. There's a lot of optimism. And you know what? This angel is like climbing the stairs. So you're taking the high road. You're taking a step each time. And maybe you're not going as fast or as, compared to other people, you're like, maybe you're not going as fast. But you know what? You're taking one step at a time because you're going for long-term commitment. Oh, this is really scary. I just said long-term commitment and I was pulling the card and look what came out, Virgo. I cannot make this up. Commitment. Can you read that? Commitment. I know it's mirrored. Anyways, I'm translating it for you, okay? There is a big commitment going on. And this is because you decided what is good for you and what's not. And where you're going to draw the line. So you've been stepping up, Virgo. Look at that. Play music. Play music. Have some fun, okay? Have some fun. And, not to be always nervous, but knowing that you can be free also with boundaries, that you don't have to be tensed because you're freeing yourself. And this is quite deep, right? Like you're freeing yourself by knowing your worth, knowing where you say no. And then you don't have to worry because you can let go. You can be more free within your body. What do you allow, right? Speak your truth. This is time. Speak your truth. It's time to speak up about something, to be vulnerable, and to also be vulnerable with yourself and be honest. What is it that you truly want? Like sometimes when we focus on something in other people and it really bothers you, this is a lesson you have to learn, right? Like something that you really dislike or something that they're doing that you're like, why would you do such a thing? But we don't know, because if we are going to be living their life, we might have made exact same mistake or decision, right? So you don't really know, and you might shift, and you have to give people space to learn. Like if you don't give people space to learn, how can they actually grow? So sometimes, and I know I'm a Virgo myself, I'm teaching people about life advice and all these things. And one of the biggest things that I had to learn is that let people grow on their own, unless they book a reading with me. Then they consent, my advice. But if you see something, and I know a lot of you Virgos are so intuitive, so you're like, no, you know, you should do this or that, but they don't grow and they don't learn. Like sometimes you have to fall or you have to do something. You have to learn. And if you do everything perfectly, they're not learning, right? And some people will never learn, but that's their decision. What are you gonna do about it if that's the case, right? So yeah, that's my message for you, my amazing Virgo. So you're gonna make a lot of shifts. You're taking off a lot of layers on how you see yourself compared to your partner or maybe your future partner. And how much are you willing to take? So there's this new energy that's coming in, that's really letting people know where you're at. So I'm so proud of you, Virgo. That's really amazing for you. Thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, subscribe to my channel so you help me out to make more videos as well. And you can write a comment. I read all of them to let me know like what's going on in your life right now. So thank you so much, Virgo, and until next time. Let's move on to Libra. So Libra, Sun, and Rising. So this new moon solar eclipse in Aries is going to happen in your 7th house. So especially if you have Sun, Moon, or Rising, or Venus, or any major planet at 9 degrees, it's going to be in an exact opposition with this new moon. So that's going to have a pretty big impact. And it's going to be in the 7th house. So this is going to be related to relationships. And with Mercury retrograde in the 7th house, you're going to overlook things that maybe happened in your current relationship, things that you can heal, things that you like, things that you don't like. If you're single, you might be going back to the past, as some of you might even hear from a partner from the past, might be coming back, and there's still something that you have to heal together, that maybe you can talk something true. This could be reconnecting you in love, right? But we also have Venus retrograde, so this is usually for the people who have like very strong past life indicators in their chart, that they're coming back around this time with someone from the past, okay? Or past life. It doesn't mean that no relationship will work out during Venus retrograde, but it is more limited for a lot of people. So it's always good to be aware, like, why are people coming back? What is their reason or reasoning? Why are they there? So yeah, make sure to get into your intuition. And when talking about your intuition, we have so many planets now in Pisces in the 6th house as well. And it's Neptune and Venus, the North Node and Saturn, all in the 6th house. So your health is really important. You might be maybe going through something that's kind of vague, because Neptune and Venus is making things a bit vague, okay? And it's Venus retrograde. So some pains or ailments could be related to past love pain or past pains that are coming up right now in your body. And, you know, I always say the astrology is no replacement for a doctor. So go to a doctor if you have to, and keep working on your energies, because long-term healing is the best with energies, okay? Short-term healing, I say go to a doctor. If you want to heal yourself in the long term, then definitely I would go for inner healing, diving deep. And I know that my viewers that are watching, you are all like deep divers. You like to clear of karma and all these kind of things, right? Because here's where the dirty work gets done, but also gets the most rewards, right? No matter how heavy your karma is, there are always opportunities for you. Anyways, Libra, you also have Jupiter there in the 9th house. What a beautiful position to have. So some of you are traveling, you're backpacking, you're on the road. You might experience some delays on the road, so make sure that you plan everything well. But it's a beautiful time, and especially if you're a Libra, around 15 degrees, you're going to make a beautiful trine there with Jupiter in the 9th house. So yeah, it's like a lot of optimism, a lot of growth. Saturn in the 6th house with the North Node is bringing maybe a bit of stress in your day-to-day work. So maybe you're struggling with your routines or with your colleagues, right? Like things are not going 100% great. Give it time, one step at a time, okay? And don't make rash conclusions, because Neptune makes things foggy. So someone might have said something and they aren't really sure who said it, how is the real situation. So I would stay like as calm as possible until things are solved, and until the planets are more favorable to show the truth. Confidence. I feel that everything that's been going on in your life has made you a lot more confident. I got this for quite some people actually. Practice makes perfect. So sometimes you need a bit of practice in order to polish your skill, in order to go to the next level or to get the job that you want. It's just not 100% the time yet. You're soon going to go into the best cycle with Jupiter in Cancer for your career. So I wouldn't really worry. Now is the time to get really good at it. Really good. So do some courses, reread some books. My dog is like, he wants attention. Well, I'm making a video, so I'm gonna walk him after. Believe. So it's time to believe in yourself, like believe in your skills, and believe that even though you don't see the result yet, the result is gonna come very soon, okay? But it's about perseverance. This is what Saturn wants from you in the 6th house, okay? Generosity, and be generous with yourself and patient. That at the right time, the right opportunity is going to come to you, and you're going to be in a really good cycle very soon. So be patient. It's going to come your way. Anyways, this is my video for you, my message for you. Thank you so much for being here. If you want to support my channel, my videos, subscribe to it, and also leave a comment. Let me know how all this resonates with you. And until next time. So let's move on now to Scorpio. So this is for everyone with Scorpio sun, moon, and rising. So the upcoming new moon solar eclipse in Aries is going to be in your 6th house. And the 6th house is all to do with your daily routines, okay? This has to do with your health and with your work and your colleagues. And there might be a lot of thoughts coming up that might be bringing you to new ideas on how to better your routines, okay? So Mercury retrograde could indicate that maybe in the past you had a certain routine that really worked for you, but then over time you got distracted or you took a new diet, and now you're gonna go back to maybe a diet that really worked for you. This doesn't have to be anything strict, right? It's just you're going to find new ways to take care of your body. So by eating better, moving, but not overly doing it, okay? Because Aries can be a bit bold. So it's like, yeah, let's start something new and then overly do it. So it's time to start slow, okay? One step at a time. Also, be very careful and aware, because Mercury retrograde in the 6th house can indicate some miscommunications at work. Okay, or miscommunications at your gym or at your sports club. Like maybe someone said something and things are just a bit unclear. And yeah, just lay a bit low if this situation is coming up. Then we also have a lot of planets there in the 5th house. So we have Neptune, Venus, the North Node, and Saturn, all in the 5th house. So 5th house has to do with your hobbies. So it's a very, very creative time for you. And you're going to take your hobbies very seriously. And with Venus retrograde, you might be picking up something you have been doing as a child or in the past. Because 5th house is also children, but also your inner child. And that's why this is a very playful house. This is about creating something from your, from playfulness, from your inner child. But Saturn here is saying, you know, maybe you should take this more serious. Maybe you're going to take that to the next level, this creative talent that you're having. And Venus retrograde is removing the blocks that are preventing you from doing so. Like maybe you feel you aren't worthy or you aren't good enough. So you're removing all these layers right now that are preventing you from expressing yourself fully. Okay, so any patterns from your childhood that you felt like you weren't really seen or appreciated for who you are, this is going to come up and it's helping you to heal yourself. Also, this is the house of romance, and Venus retrograde there in the 5th house could be bringing back some past lovers, some past loves. So yeah, be aware what's their intention, what do they want, and if that is something that is not too good to be true, because we have Venus Neptune, which creates a bit of utopian love that is maybe not truly, you know, from the outside it looks better than it actually is on the inside. So be aware. Oh, this is crazy. I just grabbed this card, healthful eating, and we just talk about your diet. So a lot of you are changing your diet, going to create a diet that is best for you, right? Every body functions differently, and that's why it's so funny when I see all these videos like, I did this, it's gonna work for everyone. Actually, not really. Even with astrology, right? Like I am thinking about making some kind of health series and, you know, talking about diet and health on each and every single sign, because not everyone is the same and not everyone is going to thrive on the same diet, right? So one size fits all is not really it, because everybody has a different shape. We're dealing with all different personalities, and it's really hard to say like one way is the right way. What if not one way is the right way, right? And I know a lot of you are explorers that are on my channel, and this is like discovering the truth that everyone's different, everyone is unique, and people have their own path to walk. Like even with karma and all that stuff, like maybe there are some people that, you know, manifested millions and I look at their chart and it's like, yeah, but you have Jupiter in the 2nd house. So maybe for you, that's easier than for, you know, average Joe who has like Pluto and Saturn in the 2nd house. And you're going to teach Joe to make millions. Of course, it's possible, but Joe needs to do a lot more than the person who did it effortlessly. So there's a lot to consider and a lot of blocks that, you know, some people have a lot of blocks and blockages from past lives that really need to be considered before you can even thinking about manifestation. And at the same time, manifesting is much easier done when you're in a higher frequency, okay? On a lower frequency, it's going to be very difficult. Don't compromise. So if there's an offer coming in love or in work, and it doesn't seem like a very good one for you, Scorpio, just pass, okay? So maybe this is your test to really see like what is matching with you. How are you gonna validate yourself? By maybe sometimes saying no or no thank you, right? Not all offers are meant for you. The right one is gonna feel right, and it's gonna be like, yes, this is it. Yeah, I'm so excited for you when Jupiter goes into the 9th house. That's gonna be so beautiful, Scorpio. So this time is really for preparing, getting your health on track, getting your hobbies on track, getting your talents on track. And then after June, you're gonna, go for it. So be patient, work with the energies, do some meditations that gonna help you with your creativity. And if you're feeling any blocks, that's gonna help you. And thank you so much for being here. If you want to support my channel, support me, subscribe to it, and also leave a comment below if you want to let me know about your life. I read all my comments. I would love to hear from you. Thank you so much for being here, and until next time. So let's move on to Sagittarius. So Sagittarius, Sun and Rising. For you, this upcoming new moon solar eclipse in the sign of Aries is going to be in the 5th house. So if you are a Sagittarius at 9 degrees, you're going to have a beautiful trine with this new moon. So that's going to enhance these new beginnings. Okay, it's going to give you a super new beginning boost. And when we look at the 5th house, we can think about romance. So this is a time for you to maybe have a romantic time with your partner, but this is going to be a different type of romance because Venus retrograde is also there, and Venus retrograde is really letting you internalize what it is that you would need from the relationship. So things could be going very deep in the sense of discuss with each other what makes each other happy, and also do you need more space, do you need less space? This is a beautiful time to come together and really discuss that. At the same time, you could be hanging out with your children, do something fun with them. Mercury retrograde is there, so you might be going to a place, like maybe you're showing them your childhood place or a place that you used to go, and they're saying, why don't we go there anymore? So you can take them over there. Also, this could indicate pregnancy. So if that's not what you want, be very careful, because we are in an eclipse time. And a lot of you Sagittarius are in a romantic cycle right now with Jupiter in the 7th house, like getting married. But, best to get married is after Venus retrograde, unless you have it in your chart. And also we have Venus retrograde in the 4th house, so with Saturn and the North Node. So a lot of you are healing ancestral patterns. So patterns that your parents, patterns that are reminding you of maybe your parents, and these are becoming more aware for you. And you can break those vicious cycles. And I know a lot of you are breaking generational curses and really things that, you want to stop the same mistakes from your ancestors and respecting them for really bringing you to this earth, but also that respectfully you're going to do things maybe a little bit different, which is fine if they agree or not. Because speak your truth, that's the card that came out. And I think that's a beautiful alignment to what I wanted to say. Because with the upcoming Mercury retrograde, I can definitely tell I'm struggling to find my words much more. And also, this eclipse is going to be right on my Mercury. So that's going to be a lot of fun. Anyways, so changes also in family dynamics. Like some of you have to take care of family members. You're gonna have to go back home. Also, fixing the house is not a good time, okay? If you want to fix your house, wait until Venus retrograde is over and Neptune and this whole bunch, because fixing your house now, small fixes is fine, but not big ones, no big redecorations. Vision. Stick to your vision. I feel like sometimes people are trying to get you off what it is that you want to do. Like, no, why? And that reminds me of when I wanted to be an astrologer and they said, there's so many astrologers on YouTube. There's so many people already doing this, but there's always a lot of people doing something, but each one is unique, right? Like each one has different things to offer. Like I'm an intuitive, like I'm an astrologer and an intuitive. That's my thing. But there are also people who are really good at, mythology and history of astrology, or they're really good at making all the calculations. And explaining things, and everybody has their own strength, and you just go with someone that you really relate with. And I think that's the beauty of things. We are all unique. So stick to your vision. Like if you have a dream, don't let other people talk all their fears into you, because it's their fears, it's not your fears. They're really sometimes just trying to help you, but that was their experience. You know, it's it's the same with the retreat center. Like it didn't work out for me, but for some people it's gonna work out and it's gonna go well. This was my path. I had to learn certain lessons, and I definitely did. And I cannot tell people that, you know, don't start a retreat center, it's gonna fail, you're gonna have problems and this and that. No, maybe for you, it's gonna be the best thing ever. So keep that in mind. Some people talk fear into you because it's from their own experience, and they cannot separate that other people will succeed and other people aren't. And even if you're not, you need to experience that yourself always. So that's my message for you, my amazing Sagittarius. If you want to support my channel, support me, subscribe to it, leave a comment below like how all this resonates with you. And I'll see you next time. Thank you so much. Let's move on to Capricorn. So Capricorn, Sun and Rising, for you this new moon solar eclipse is going to be in your 4th house in the sign of Aries. So the 4th house has to do with your family situation. This has to do with your housing situation, and we have Mercury retrograde here. So first of all, this is not a good time for moving, or at least signing a contract. So if you're moving, make sure that everything is well organized, because there might be some delays, some miscommunications, okay? So if you can extend it till after mid-April, I would definitely recommend that. You have Saturn, the North Node, Venus, and all in your 3rd house. So communication sometimes might be a little bit off, okay? Even in the family, like miscommunication with siblings or with your parents or with your own created family. It's just the communication is not going to go as fluid. So be very, very aware with that. The beautiful thing about this new moon is going to be introspection. What are your roots? What is important to you? What do you appreciate about your family? And what is it that maybe you want to do differently? And seeing this all from a perspective of light, right? From a bright perspective. Like, how can I change things in the best way possible? Then we have all these planets in the 3rd house. So some of you are studying, and it might be that sometimes you're zoning out, or it's going to be more difficult to focus. And don't be too hard on yourself. Take it one step at a time. Sometimes taking it slow, because Saturn likes slow, not too fast. Have a good daily structure, okay? This time I'm waking up, I'm doing this amount. And not to do too much or pressure yourself. You know, you're doing the best you can. So all these doubts about, am I good enough? Am I smart enough? Might be coming up, but they are all there for you to heal the blocks that are, when all these planets go direct, that things go a lot smoother. Okay, and Saturn is going to temporarily go in the 4th house. So then if you are studying, things will get a bit easier by summertime. Okay, even though I know that some of you are not studying during that time, but I have to make a general reading, so I don't know the ages and everything. Let me get you a card. So yeah, visiting family, just be very much aware about miscommunications. And also, definitely a trip, right? A trip coming up for some of you. Also, check out for, like a little bit delays and things like that, you know? This is a time for introspection. That's going to be your highest timeline. I'm seeing mother. So some of you are visiting your mother or becoming a mother. Because we do have Uranus there in the 5th house. So that could be happening unexpectedly, and I'm getting steady progress. So if you have a difficult relationship with your mother, or there is some difficulty there, it's steady progress, one step at a time. Or if you have to get used to becoming a mother, right? Like be very, very sweet to yourself and very patient, that with time, you're going to grow into it. That's so funny. I'm talking about this. Practice makes perfect, right? Practice makes perfect. One step at a time. And if it's not going to be perfect, it's not going to be perfect. And that's okay as well. That's okay as well. Move, right? So some of you are in a move, but don't be too hard on yourself. If it's not going as quick as you want, as fast as you want, in April, things are going to smooth out a lot. And for, things are going to be a lot smoother from mid-April on. So just hang in there. If you're feeling things are a little bit delayed, this is a time to do some journaling and do some intuitive, have some intuitive insights through meditation and self-reflect. Like, where would you like to live? Are you happy where you're living now? It's not really about taking impulsive action. So it's really about thinking about it and planning it, but not taking action yet. After mid-April, it's going to be a lot better. So that's going to be my message for you, my amazing Capricorns. Thank you so much for watching. In order to help me out to make many more videos for you, subscribe to my channel, leave a comment below, and let me know how all of this resonates with you, what you're working on. I read all my comments, so thank you so much. Let's move on to Aquarius. So Aquarius, Sun, Moon, and Rising. For you, we have this new moon solar eclipse in Aries in your 3rd house. So for some of you, this is going to be a trip, okay? Going on a trip, and with Mercury retrograde there, for some of you, you're going back to a place where you already been before. You could be visiting your siblings. And if you're talking to your siblings or visiting them, just be aware that there might be some miscommunications happening, something, maybe not being in full alignment. We have so many confusing energies, a lot of energies in Pisces, and also, you have Chiron in the 3rd house, and it's in a square with Mars in the 6th. So there's a lot of miscommunication, and I'm laughing. I shouldn't be laughing, but try to see it from the positive side. It's a bit of a confusing energy. So if your words aren't coming across like as clear as you would like them to be, don't be too hard on yourself, Aquarius. So they could be with colleagues, with siblings. There might be some wishy-washy communication. This is also a time to watch your finances, okay? We have the North Node, we have Saturn, we have Venus retrograde in the 2nd house. So you're being triggered and tested to see how you're doing your money management. So finding the right balance, finding the right balance between overspending and maybe underspending, okay? Give and take has to be in the right balance there. Yeah, you've been experiencing, for a lot of you, you've been experiencing Pluto. So if you're an early degree Aquarius, so early birthday, sun sign, or you have your moon or your rising sign, you've noticed that, Pluto is bringing in some chaos, bringing in everything from the underworld, but it's making you dive deeper, look deeper. Pluto's really the sign that's wants to dive into everything, wants to know the truth of the truth of the truth. And this is how healing can start. So it's like, I can ignore all these lessons and all this difficulty and stay in the victim mode and use Pluto and all your intuitive abilities to manipulate, or you're going to empower yourself and empower others, right? Because it will give a reward. If you're working with these energies in the right way, it always gives rewards. Because it's about cleaning up all the dirt. And when your garden is all clean, when everything, all your energies are clean, you have space for new things to come. And it might test you sometimes, like, have you learned the lesson? It's about confidence. Knowing when to say no, knowing when to say yes. Okay, so be very clear. Try to be the clearest possible, because it is a bit of a wishy-washy energy, okay, by the end of this month. There's going to be a bit foggy, unclear, but Jupiter in the 5th house brings everything in a more positive perspective. It's a lot of optimism. Spend some time with your partner or with your children if you have any. But yeah, this is a beautiful year also to have a child, okay? But if you want to start conceiving, I would start next month, April, end of April, okay? Vision. Keep that vision in mind, that thing that you really, really want. Because it looks like you're running away from something. Like I feel, this comes in like now intuitively. I feel that some of you feel that you're walking backwards. That sometimes you're working so hard and you've been doing so much and it's like you're running in circles, like things are not happening. It feels like you're not moving forward, but actually you are moving forward like so much. And it's really about diving within yourself right now, cleaning up all the, you know, things that have been blocking you, like old fears, old pains are now being cleared. And, you know, there is no age to a specific time or timing, because sometimes, you know, by this time you should have a house, by this time you should have a relationship, but you don't know. And this is what makes people control the outcome, because it's like, you know, you should have this at this age, you should have that at that age. But how can you know? You don't know. Like you can get married really young and think, oh, I'm going to be married for the rest of my life. And then you divorce in your 30s or 40s or 50s. And you could meet someone new, right? You don't know where you're going to be at, what is possible for you. So why don't we just let go and allow life to unfold naturally and not judge people so much. And this is, you know, the beauty of more difficult times, that you start to have so much more empathy for people that are going through something. And, you know, it's making you actually a more beautiful person. So even if you don't realize, it's doing so many good things. And don't rush. Be so gentle and so sweet to yourself. That if it doesn't happen today, does not mean it will never happen to you, right? At the right time, things will come to you. So keep that in mind, my lovely Aquarius. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for watching. If you want to support my channel, subscribe to it. Also, let me know in the comments how you're doing, how you're going through the eclipse season. And yeah, I read through all my comments. So thank you so much. And until next time. Okay, let's go to Pisces. And I love this. One person wrote in the comments that I said last but not least, and this is so very true. So I'm gonna say it again. Last but not least, Pisces. Okay, we're gonna have this new moon solar eclipse in Aries in your second house. I always wanted to say third house. So it's in your second house. And this is all to do with your finances, okay? Very important that if you write any contracts right now, because we have Mercury retrograde related to money, be so very, very careful, okay? That you read everything well. At the same time, you could be getting money from something you've done in the past. So maybe some video is picked up out of nowhere, or something you've done in the past, like some money could be coming in from that. Then we also have a lot of planets in your sign, okay? We have Saturn, the North Node, Venus, and Neptune, all in a big stellium there. And it's teaching you a lot of lessons. And you felt that, right? It's a mix between optimism. It's been forcing you to stick to yourself and also stick up for yourself, to have strong boundaries. And Saturn is teaching you to, stick with the path, stick with the vision. And then Venus and Neptune sometimes can zone you out a little bit, okay? If people say like, yeah, sometimes you're zoned out. It's those planets that do that. But at the same time, it would be much easier for you to meditate and to really dive within, which is very necessary with Mercury retrograde and Venus retrograde, and also Jupiter in the 4th house there is bringing in an optimism from within. So you are experiencing some kind of strength that maybe you haven't seen in yourself before. Venus retrograde is letting you heal your identity, heal what maybe you thought wasn't nice about yourself. Maybe you were insecure about something, and actually other people think that's the most beautiful thing about you. I'm getting prayed. So maybe you prayed for something to change, something to happen, but suddenly you feel you don't want it anymore. If it's not necessary anymore, right? Generosity. I feel like now is time to be generous to yourself. And that was all the hard lessons we're teaching you. Like, you are perfect the way you are. And you don't need to have certain things or to be a certain way. The only thing you have to do is connect with your heart, you see? And then blessings of abundance can come. So how much do you value yourself? And how much do you see like you've already done, right? So the moment you're kind of letting go, it can come to you. All these blessings of abundance, all these maybe compliments that you were looking for, the money that you were looking for. So you are redefining your identity. And with that, you found it. This is exactly what I feel like. Like, I feel like a lot of you that are watching, you've been working on yourself and you hit something like a jackpot within yourself. And now you're like, you know what? I don't need to do this anymore. I don't need to work for too little anymore. I don't need to undervalue myself anymore. I'm going to just stick to my truth. I'm going to stay strong and have good boundaries. And I don't need to accommodate other people or like, you know, because I know Pisces, sometimes you don't like to have disharmony, right? So you run away, but maybe this time you're not running away because you're like facing it right on. And that was your lesson. And now people will see you in a different light and they will actually see you the way you wanted them to see you. So I feel like a lot of respect coming to you because the way you're treating yourself. Travels on the maps. We do have Uranus in the 3rd house and it's in a sextile with Mars in the 5th. So some of you are visiting someone, a love or a child. Maybe you're visiting your child. Could be an unexpected trip. Creative expression. Okay, so it's time to express yourself. But also, look at this canvas. Like, this person is painting their own canvas, painting their own life, taking charge of their own destiny. And I really feel that that's what you've been doing. And you are getting a lot more respect for it. You're not constantly bending to what other people want you to do. And it's not in a selfish way, because that's very important, that it's not in an egocentric way. It's connecting to the heart and letting life flow through you, which is so important. So yeah, you've been doing absolutely amazing. And thank you so much for watching. This is my message for you, my amazing Pisces. Leave a comment below how this all resonates with you. And if you want to support my channel, subscribe to it. Thank you so much. And until next time.